Mass protests have engulfed the US for months following the death of George Floyd at the hands of police. But now President Trump is being criticized for playing politics with the unrest. Trump is portraying himself as a champion of law and order. We're going to double check if the US president is everything he says he is. First, let's have a look at one of his most recent campaign ads.
If you're calling to report a rape, please press 1. To report a murder, press 2. To report a home invasion, press 3. For all other crimes, leave your name and number, and someone will get back to you. Our estimated wait time is currently 5 days. Goodbye.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Wow, an estimated waiting time of 5 days for a murder. His Democratic critics are calling the tactic fear-mongering to gain votes. And the ad seems to suggest that anarchy will prevail if the president doesn't step in. One city has been a particular focus for the Trump administration, Portland, Oregon, where thousands of people have been on the streets for weeks, denouncing systemic racism in policing. To stop them, Trump has signed an executive order for the deployment of an unusual task force.
But on the ground in Portland, we have seen a new task force, including US Marshals, BORTAC, a unit of Customs and Border Protection, and a special response team from ICE, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency.
Footage has been floating around on social media of federal agents in unmarked cars pulling over protesters for questioning. And local leaders are objecting, saying they didn't even ask for an intervention. In fact, the mayor of Portland was caught up in the crackdown on protests.
Mayor Ted Wheeler was among those who was tear-gassed, there he is there, during a protest against racial injustice and inequality.
The criticism doesn't stop there. Former Homeland Security Secretary Tom Ridge has also condemned Trump's actions, saying the department was established to protect America from the ever-present threat of global terrorism. It wasn't established to be the president's personal militia. Following clashes between federal agents and protesters, larger and more diverse groups of people have joined the demonstrations, including the so-called Wall of Mums. Perhaps not the most intimidating crowd.
Last night, a group of moms known as the Wall of Moms, these women in yellow shirts, wearing helmets and goggles, along with a group of fathers, arrived to cheers, and then they linked arms to protect the protesters. But that didn't stop the federal agents from using tear gas to disperse them overnight. Tear gas.
But to be fair, Trump says he's trying to prevent chaos.
The effort to shut down policing in their own communities has led to a shocking explosion of shootings, killings, murders.
And the president is correct that some US cities have reported increases in gun violence and murders this year. But according to one report, overall, violent crime, which includes aggravated assault, murder, rape, and robbery, has dropped 5.3% this year in 25 large American cities compared to 2019. So there isn't an explosion as such. But just a few weeks in, Trump seems to be walking back. The tactics of his federal agents has only emboldened protesters, which have grown since the crackdown. In an apparent face-saving move, the governor of Oregon tweeted, "The federal government has agreed to withdraw federal officers from Portland." But Trump wasn't ready to throw in the towel. He doubled down in a tweet, warning that the federal government will go in and do the job that local law enforcement was supposed to do. So it looks like we're back at square one.